Members of the St. Francis City Council, along with Sheriff Cody Beeson, they've recently had some discussions on law enforcement between the City of St. Francis and the Cheyenne County Sheriff. And we attended a meeting on Monday evening where there was some discussion on how the city was going to move forward with their law enforcement. Their chief of police has resigned, leaving them with 2 employees, I believe, 1 officer and one office person.
Yeah.
And what they had requested from us and from the sheriff was some time to make a decision on what direction you really wanted to go, whether you wanted to retain your police force or contract out. And so I invited them here today to kind of discuss that with you guys so we could all kind of be brought up to speed. Cody, did you have any comments? Or
I really don't have any comments other than, we're trying to work hard. I gave them a survey at the city council meeting. Hopefully they feel come to a consensus of what they think they want. And with that information, I can take that and try to give them an itemized cost of what that would cost, what it would cost the county to do, and then we can negotiate on that and see where we're at on that. I've never just pulled numbers out of my head. I always try to base numbers off of things that are tangible that I can prove to both the city council and the commissioners of this is why this number is what it is, spread down. So I'm kind of just waiting to get that information back so I can see what it is. I realize that the citizens of St. Francis pay taxes that go to the county, but that's, it's above and beyond. It's the same way the citizens pay taxes and still have to pay for water and gas and, sewer and stuff, because you can't just provide that service with the tax base alone. So I'm just kind of waiting for that information so I can see what expense it would add to the sheriff's office's budget. And once I get that figured out, we can talk. Until then, I am working with the city. As I said at the other meeting, I'm not going to leave the citizens of St. Francis, the city council of St. Francis in the dark. We're going to help them the next 30 days. We have an agreement to help them get through this. And my biggest goal is that we keep having open dialogue and we talk about this between me, county attorney, county commissioners, city council, city attorney, everybody involved, that we just keep an open dialogue and we talk about things and try to get something. And if they decide to take applications and go, get a new chief, that's just fine too.
what had kind of transpired, they had asked for some time to make this decision, and in the meantime to take care of the day-to-day business with their remaining officer. The decision was made to appoint Cody as temporary chief of police for St. Francis for a period of like 30 days.
Yeah, and he won't be doing anything but just overseeing our young officer. He's not going to be policing or anything. He just, if our officer needs to talk to him about something, just to help him out and so forth. So, and yeah, whether we can get something done in 30 days, that's going to happen real fast, like everything does for everybody. All of a sudden 2 weeks is up, and then the next 2 weeks is up.
And we'd have to go through Cody again, but I think if you needed an extension of time, I think that would be most appropriate, because you don't want to rush into it either way.
Yeah.
So that's basically kind of what took place this week, and the arrangement we made with the city, and it's all I think we all agreed that it was probably the right thing to do at this time.
I agree with that, because like I said, when I first heard about it, 2 weeks didn't seem like an awful lot of time to do anything. I think it's wiser to wait and give it a little time, and because I'm sure a lot of the city people are calling you and wanting to know.
No, really, I haven't heard any feedback. We was talking about that yesterday. I don't know.
Oh.
And, it was in the paper.
I have not heard anything either. But the bottom line is, the city of St. Francis is still going to retain police protection by the remaining officer and with the assistance of the sheriff's office. So there will be no change in how law enforcement does its day-to-day business inside the city.
And I think that was the goal of both, the city council, the sheriff's department, and commissioners, is that there not be any disruption in regards to what has been in place thus far. And so this was the best way that it could be handled to have a smooth transition so that there still was the coverage and the city would have enough time to go ahead and formulate a plan as to what was best for the city.
Is that agreeable with the rest of the commission?
Yeah, we know it's in our court now that we've got to get our questionnaire filled out for Cody and plus a few other things and get it to him so he can put something together, because
Sure.
we got to weigh that option before we would ever think about another option. 'Cause
Sure.
If that option comes in and looks really good to us, I mean,
Well, it
I don't
sounds,
know, I feel like that's the direction we probably might go, so.
sounds like Cody will give you a little more time if you need more than 30 days,
Right.
which is great, I think.
Yeah.
Let's
I
do
think
it the right way and have
Yeah.
it correct when we make the
We all know
decision.
what fast decisions does.
Right. But we just don't want
Usually
any,
bites you.
we don't want any disruption in your police protection now, so with the help of the sheriff's office, I think you'll be fine.
Okay, well, I think that's all we really had, unless you guys have questions for us.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, we appreciate it.
Okay, well, thanks for coming up, and let us know if we can help you out some other way.
Yeah.
We'll be glad to.
We appreciate it. Yep. Well,
We're all in it together, I'd say.
Yeah, one way or another, we are.
Did you learn anything yesterday?
I did. I did. I learned a lot yesterday, so.
We did too.
Maybe-
Some things we didn't want to learn.
Yeah.
Did you get any direct response from anybody?
No. We talked to some KDOT people after they broke out into the breakout sessions, and pretty much the same as we've gotten before, that it's not their issue, they don't have to fix it. The city needs to come to the table with an offer of what we're willing to pay to help fix the issues. We're talking the highway, the crossovers, the access road, the curb and gutter up there, that they just say that they are not responsible for
They
maintaining.
abandoned it, didn't they? Yeah.
Yep, so,
I think even if they did have responsibility, which they may still have somewhat, didn't sound to me like they had any money anyhow.
Not yet.
Yeah,
I mean, everything they talked about was future.
yeah,
Mhm.
like 2 years
Yeah.
at the most.
Yeah.
And Rick Bellinger didn't seem to think that that was even going to be a feasible
Timeline.
option then in
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
We're talking about robbing the bank of KDOT.
Well, Governor Kelly has, I'll use the word promise, but she's indicated that that practice is going to stop within the 2 years. And, we just have to kind of wait and see. It's easy to say, but I'm sure those legislators, when they get there,
Yeah,
are going to have the same old battles they had
Sounds
last
like
year.
that's the way they planned on balancing the budget was through KDOT.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, they were projecting things clear out to 2045, and I'm going, oh my.
Yeah,
I know how old Roger and I are going to be.
I'm done by then. Did you see their population? They're claiming that Cheyenne County's only going to have projected about 1,300 people in the entire county by 2044.
Wow.
Now, how they come up with these projections?
I don't know, but I think there's too many variables to project that.
Yeah,
There's too much going on. I mean, we've got high-speed internet. There's kids still moving back.
It's kind of like Rollins County. My nephew's class, I think they have like 40 kids in that class.
Yeah.
So
Well, what they're doing, looked to me like they're justifying the numbers back to the metro areas. And, because now they're talking about regional hubs and connecting hubs, and you know what that's going to mean. So any kind of services we want, you're going to have to travel to one of these hubs. And,
You know, they've been talking about that on, like, this courthouse for a long time. It seems like we still survive. I mean, you still have a judge,
yeah.
you still get a driver's license here.
But I foresee in the future, one of these days, that we're not going to have a lot of this stuff available to us.
Which they're doing a caseload study that started July 1st. I was hoping it would be January 1st, but it just started July 1st, where they're counting case numbers to justify judges. So,
Well, there's been talk in the past about instead of having elected sheriffs in every county, there would be one appointed. I don't know what his title would be, but
District sheriff or something.
something along those lines.
There's one county in the state of Kansas that already does that, and it works so well that there's one county in the state of Kansas that already does it. I think there's 18,000 in the United States, and 150 of them are that way. And that, I think that statistic right there tells you how well that works.
That's
So,
Yeah, that is one thing. I remember the talks twice in the past. Been on council 20 years, but as far as countywide law enforcement, both times, one of the main things that was said to me was we want to elect our sheriff. We do not want a board to hire one and appoint one.
And I think most of rural Kansas
Yeah.
wants to keep it that way. Now, the metro areas, they care less.
And I think there's times in the past it would have been nice if you fired the sheriff. It's just that they do not want that. And I don't know, maybe the generations now, but these were generally people that were older.
Well, most people want to say in how they're governed and how they're policed. And okay, thank you.
yeah.
Well, thank you guys.
you gentlemen need me for anything else?
I don't think so, Cody.
No, thanks.
You got anything for us?
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, see you, Larry.
See, you're getting your fence up, huh?
Yeah, the fence is going up over Bird City.
Did you find it, or did you have to buy new?
We had to buy new. So, but it's going up today, or yesterday and today. So we're working on it. So progress.
Okay, sounds good. Good morning, Brian.
Well, good morning.
I believe we're ready for you if you'd like to
Well,
just
fantastic. Yeah.
have a seat.
Hopefully I'm ready for you guys, too. Let me get some copies for everybody. And I didn't know if you were going to be here or not, but I made you a copy.
thank you.
You bet. You didn't get the fancy blue notebook, though, so.
I
sorry.
think I'll live,
Okay.
but next time.
Next time I'll make sure you have one. So, there you go. All right. So how have you guys been since last time I was here?
Busy like everybody
Busy
else.
like that. Yeah, just plug it along.
Yeah.
So, pretty straightforward this year, or this quarterly review. The only change is not necessarily a change. We had a few claims this last quarter that really kind of hit hard against our reserves. So that's primarily what I'm going to kind of explain and kind of work through the numbers a little bit. On this first page, you guys can kind of see down at the lower right-hand corner where it says 14.18%. That basically what that's saying is that we're 14.18% above what we quoted when we initially did the renewal, starting back in January. But if you add back in the reserves, the money that you put in your own account every single month, right, we're still 14.8% below what was quoted originally. So that's your money, obviously, as we've talked about before. So we're still doing great. but the reason we kind of had that uptick from, I think it was about 6 or 7% last quarter, we're at 14.8, is because we had some big, strong claims come in against our numbers, okay? But even with those strong claims, we're still doing really well at 14.8% below, okay? But we have to add the reserves back in to get those numbers. If you go to the next page, you're going to see the monthly claim analysis. And I'll just kind of highlight kind of where some of these, we don't have to get far into the weeds on this, but kind of in the middle column here, you see where it says monthly medical claims paid? Do you guys see that section right there? Mm-hmm. Do you see what came about in April and May? It was pretty significant. So we were running, 7, 4,000, 5,000. All of a sudden we hit April, it ended up 26,000. And I have some really good documentation to show you kind of where that went. We had some claims. There must have been some big ones actually went over to the Denver area, and I'll show you where those claims are in the subsequent pages. But that right there hit against our reserves. So the very last column is your actual bank balance as of June 31st, or June 30th, I'm sorry. So you can see how we were up to a high of about 120,000 in March, and then we started getting those big claims popping in, and that dropped our reserve number down to 83,000, okay? So just always want to keep our eye on the ball on kind of where our reserve numbers are. We should, barring any issues dealing with taking money out of the reserves in the future, we should get that built right back up for sure. Okay. So that's basically just kind of a quick snapshot of kind of what claims got thrown at us, a couple big ones for sure, and also just showing kind of where